Yeah, so basically this testimony, I could pick a dozen testimonies in my life that the Lord has worked on my life. And
Amen.
I chose this one on patience, even though, like the pastor said, it's goodness, and it's not only patience, it's about fervent prayer and the patience we need. Just want to start out with, I met my wife, Christy, in November 2005. She had 1-year-old daughter, Leanne, already with her, and we ended up getting married in June 2008. We were talking about religion. She grew up Catholic, but wasn't practicing. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. I wasn't practicing. So it wasn't a big deal. Then she said she wants to raise Leanne as a Catholic, even though she wasn't practicing. And I said, that's fine. That's your daughter. If we ever have children, I would like, and it was always in my heart, I would like them to come to church with me. And she says, yeah, that's no problem. So we did get married in June 2008. And the following year, March 2009, we have Andrew. So, in the back of my head, I was like, well, he's too young. I don't want to bring a newborn to church and to go there by myself. And 1 week before his 3rd birthday, I decided, well, I think it's time. Let's go back to church. I called up my cousin Steve and his girlfriend at the time, Dorothy, and I said, how about, what do you think of going to Fall River Church? Yes, yeah, let's go. We haven't been to church in a while, so I didn't want to go by myself. It's been years. It was at this time probably a dozen years since I stepped into a church to attend, and I didn't want to do it by myself, so I had my cousin bring me, and we went in. Great time, great people. Everyone welcomed me, and it was so good. I felt good. The following week was my son's birthday, and we had a birthday party, so I didn't attend church. But then the following week after that, I called my cousin. You want to go back to church? No, that was one time. I don't want to keep going. And so I was kind of forced. Do I want to go by myself? I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So I bring my son. I go in, and again, everyone being very welcoming to me. And my whole time I wanted to go to church was for my son, to raise my son as a Seventh-day Adventist. But the whole time I was like, I don't want to get involved. I just want to be a pew sitter and just do nothing. This is for my son. Let him grow up, know who Jesus is. But you know what? I've been there, done that. I don't want to be involved. Well, obviously that has changed. And the Lord has worked tremendously in my life, and I am appreciative of that. And the love that I felt when I walked into the church, and how everyone embraced me and welcomed me, and we went through a fire, and the church helped me and my family out so much. I wanted my wife to feel that. She wasn't attending Catholic at any church at all. So I was almost forcing her, like we would get into discussions like, she would work Sabbaths. And I said, well, just tell them you're going to church. They have to let you out of work. There are Jewish people out there, and, you're part of the union. Just take Saturdays off and come to church with me, because that was since I went back to church, it was always a feeling of mine, a great feeling, that I wanted my family to go together to church. That's how I grew up, my whole family, myself, my 2 sisters, my mother and father. And that's what I was, at this point, that's what I was feeling. I was like, this would be great if we could all go to church together. So I was almost acting like Sarah, as far as Abraham and Sarah. Sarah, when she says, well, I can't conceive, so let's make another plan here. So, well, Christy, I know you don't want to be converted, but, let's take Saturday off, and maybe once you see what's going on, maybe, you'll get converted. I was trying to force it onto her, and obviously that wasn't going to work out. But I was constantly praying for her to see who Jesus really is, to get to to get to know God, and it was many years. And so I've been back now, I think it's 12 years back in the church. And 2 years ago, Stephen Bohr comes down to make a presentation. And the pastor at the time, Pastor Peguero, asked if I could record the presentation and put it out on YouTube and Facebook. And so I said, yeah, no problem. So Stephen Bohr, Pastor Bohr, was going to be preaching Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and twice on Saturday. So in the back of my head, I was already anticipating, well, I'm going to get into an argument with my wife because why are you leaving so much this week? You're just leaving us behind. And so when I'm setting up, getting ready to go out Wednesday nights, she says, I want to go. Wow. I said, great, let's go. She goes out there, she's helped, she listens to the sermon, and we go back in the car. We go back into the car, and she says, that was great, I want to come tomorrow. And then the following day, I want to keep coming. It really opened her eyes to who Jesus is. And since then, it's been nonstop with her. She wanted to take lessons. She was baptized a few months after that, in April, after a couple years, after Stephen Bohr had his presentation, whatever that was, a couple years ago. So, but it's been nonstop, and that's my testimony here today. I know we have children who left the church. We have family members who left the church who've never been part of the church. And I know Mary Lou would always ask prayer for her husband, her sons and daughters to know who Jesus is. Mm-hmm. And it's our persistent prayer. We never stop praying because, yes, it is God's will for everyone to know who He is. But we also need to understand it's that other person. They still have that choice to say no. Correct. The same way it took about 12 years or so or 10 years for Christ to work on Christy, for her to open up her eyes, it might take another 10 years for anyone else who's praying for their family. It could be another week. We don't know. But we need to fervently pray for our family members. Amen.